And so when I started, and then I became Rookie of the Year my first year. And
after all the crying.
After all the crying, you know what? And I remember the person I shadowed with, and I remember the person I shadowed with, I sat down, did my first sales call with her, and she obviously saw I was very nervous, and she took control of the situation and finished off the interview with the customer. At the end, I remember her pointing at me, and she said to me, "Don't you ever cry." And after that, I became Rookie of the Year, and I was just flabbergasted, of course, hard work and so on. But the thing is what I learned in that experience is that, it's persistence and also being tenacious, by hard work. But it's also more to that, because since then I've always been Paragon sales, always in the top 10 with where I was before. And then, I had a great career at TD Canada Trust. And, before I left in September, I actually sensed that something was changing. I didn't know what it was, but I said, okay, there's something in the air that's changing. And so I decided to literally cross the street. My office was at College and Grace on the north side, and I set up shop literally on the south side of College and Grace. And it was very nerve-wracking for me because I had a great career at TD Canada Trust. And then a year later, obviously, the subprime mess, and that's where my dad said, "You know what, you must be hurting because the real estate agents are hurting." I go, "Hell no, we're busier, more busier than I was at TD Canada Trust." And, it was tough, especially when you're sitting down with the customer, like the mistake that I did when I was at TD Canada Trust, I never told individuals I was a commission individual. They just saw the logo, and they just assumed that I was a salaried individual. And so when the customers are contacting me and I'm now across the street, ignorance is bliss. Customers don't understand this. And partly I was responsible for that because, again, you get brainwashed a lot of it. And when I was on the other side, I would say, why are you dealing with a mortgage broker? It can't get approved, right? And because that is what we were trained. And I remembered when on the other side, I used to do radio when I was at TD, and I stopped. But when I went to the other side, I went back on the radio, and my first episode on the radio, I actually apologized to all my past clients that I couldn't help. That was very humbling for me, because I didn't know. Because you're trained one way, and on the other side, you just don't know. Yes, they always say the grass is greener. Yes and no. But what you don't know with the horses, with the blinders, I tell them, take that off and look around you, and you'll see that things are not as what perception is.
Or what you believe that they are.
Correct.
Yeah.
So when I'm sitting down, I go into the boss system. I literally log onto the boss system, MacVu, and I show them preferred, matrix, and approved. And I tell them we have access to the A, B, and C. So the A side, I tell them, it's the big 6 in the corner. And then the B side, they're still banks, but they just don't have a presence in the corner, like the INGs, the First Nationals, and so on. And then the C is, private, Joe and Maria. And then I tell them, well, the bank tells you don't deal with the broker. And I pull out my old business card at TD Canada Trust, and I show them my new card, tell them my numbers are exactly the same. So if you had my card, they'll come directly to me and go, oh, yeah, it is. And I said, well, did you ever pay me when I was at TD? He goes, no. It's the same thing over here. Remember, on this side, we get paid by the institution. There's no cost to it at all. So, we have choices. We can present you options besides this option. And they go, oh, I didn't know that, right? And then I tell them, well, you can understand is that I was just loyal to one institution. Now I'm not loyal to anyone. I'm loyal to you as the customer, right? So if I'm able to give you a better rate, that's where I'm going to shop you because I'm dependent on you to refer that business back. And they go, oh, right? And then the next thing I say to them is that, when you're across the street, you have those volumes, right? We also give you better rates. You walk into a branch, you may have 1 or 2 mortgages, but like it or not, the richer get richer and the get poor because you're one of thousands of people. But with our company, just alone in our office on College Street, we do well over $80 million of business, and the bank is going to say, I want a chunk of that business. So they're going to give you a better rates, even with the same institution. So if you're up playing the game, by all means do so, right? So what I always say to individuals is, we're here to help you. Like we have on our business cards, the 5 diamonds, and our 5 diamonds are being approachable, empathetic to people's needs, accountable, being sincere and enthusiastic about their business. And I didn't realize this, is that on my business card, and I say this jokingly, but of course, the way to break the ice when I have a customer.
Can you zoom in on this for a quick sec?
It's got a rooster, and on my card, of course, being Portuguese, and there's a man and a woman, usually there's a couple, and of course, I always tell the gentleman, close your ears, right? And I tell my customers, and this is a great way to break the ice. So you put the card in my hands, and I say, well, as a woman, it's one only opportunity I can finally say that I have a cock in my hand and able to control it, right? Right? And of course, the guys always roll their eyes, and the women say, yeah, and I'm like, yes, right? But on that note, we always break the ice, but I always tell individuals, it's a very strong card, and I say, my card's got the 5 diamonds. And my first diamond is honesty. The second, integrity. Third is trust, justice, and honor. It's a very strong card. So if you follow by those principles, the 5 diamonds, right, you distinguish yourself among the crowd, right? So, and have fun, and that's what I like to do, is have fun along the way.
Would you do it again? And I remember how hard it was for you when you first left, because I mean you had a great career at Canada Trust, a lot of respect, everybody loved you, all that sort of stuff. I remember how hard the transition was. Would you do the same thing again?
Definitely. I should have done it sooner, but when you're very comfortable, you got to understand. I always tell my customers is this. I had a great career at TD Canada Trust. No one kicked me out. And I pulled them the ring. I showed them, like, very few people have a ring, right? Because sometimes, people can speak and all that stuff. I had a great career. But I had a pivotal moment, sometimes circumstances in your life. I just came out from a long-term relationship, and I needed a change. So that change for me was, okay, let's cross the street. So when I say, why did the chicken cross the road? Literally, to give more choices, right?
Not because there was a cock in
not because there was a cock in the hand, right? Exactly, right? So it's to give more choices to customers, right? And I should have done it sooner, but you know what? I'm glad it took the time that I did. It's like I'm more mature, more secure. And sometimes my agents will say, my sub-agents and my team will say, well, Eddie, it's easier for you because, you have the brand, or you have the database. And I tell them, no, you got to understand, people come to you because of you, right? Not the brand. It helps. It helps. Banks are great with the branding, right? And what we tend to forget, too, from this side, right, is to forget to co-brand. The jingle, right? It's corny, but it's catchy, right? And that's what I say to individuals is, if it's not broken, why fix it? Run with it, right? It's a win-win situation for everyone. Right? Exactly.
Cool. Are you doing what you love?
I definitely do. For me is teach and you feed for a lifetime. It's like when you go fishing. Are you going to give someone a fish, or are you going to teach them how to fish? You're better off teaching them how to fish because you can feed a whole community, right? And I love that. I love to sit down with a customer and show them. Disclose, be open to them, right? And if it's good enough for me, it's good to give to others. I remembered when I was on the other side, the branch manager would say to me, Eddie, why do you show people your personal information, right? I go, why not? If I know people's information, they're giving me their private information, why should I show people my personal stuff? If it's good enough for me, it's good enough to give that same advice, right? I think what we tend to forget is speak from sincerity. And if it's and people will see right through you if you're not, right? And that's why I say to individuals, you know, you have to speak from example. You have to come from a place that you are secure, you are, you know, able to practice what you preach. And sometimes I say to individuals is that some of my sub-agents, I say, you need to get your house in order. If your house is not in order, and if you're desperate, you will put individuals...
You'll make wrong decisions.
Exactly,
yeah.
right? And and people will sense that, right? So,
and people can sense insincerity, too. I mean, like, if people trust you and they like you, they're going to deal with you. If you're insincere, I think the majority of people can sense that there is some insincerity there. So there's no point in lying. Tell the truth, right?
The whole truth, nothing but the truth. You know?
Wait, what do you see yourself eventually doing?
Oh, yes. I definitely love to get into the TV. I've done newspaper print. I've done radio. I think that what I lack is the TV aspect of things. To me is, you know, you look at what's happening out there. There's this, you know, whole reality show going on with